Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to ER Emotional Response Podcast. Hello out there. I'm sorry for the delay. I deeply apologize. My special guest was going to do a part 2, and she will. However, being in Canada and being in the U.S., matching the times have been a little bit shifted. Mainly because of my part and everything that I have on my plate. So I like to first apologize for the delay, and number 2, realize help everyone what's wrong with my voice. I know it's raining outside, but I know that anyway. Even though it's delayed, I have not forgotten. And we just gonna, we just gonna make this a 3-part series on defensiveness. I'm going to bring up some little key points to keep in mind, and Ms. Walker will continue her case study on defensiveness. Mainly because in order for relationships to grow, you have to understand even different perspectives and the different perspectives that your significant other might jump into. And then you must understand the beauty of defensiveness. It's like being cut. And the first thing that you do when you're being cut is you yank whatever body part it is inward towards you to see, number 1, how deep the cut is. Number 2, to avoid any more cutting. And number 3, just hold collectively for self-preservation. And so those same dynamics occur when defensiveness happens. It sounds weird, but defensiveness comes out of a level of vulnerability, either a vulnerability of emotions, vulnerability of past issues, vulnerability of wanting to secure your identity and efforts of connecting. So I want you to think about those things. I'm going to bring up a couple of points, but Ms. Walker will continue part 2 of her case study, which makes this a 3-part series. And may people not cancel or avoid people because of disagreements. Disagreements is a part of the world. And you have to check yourself when you're being defensive. Because like toothpaste, once words go out, you really can't push them back in. And so, in efforts of trying to preserve yourself, you want to be mindful of the words that you might say. The perspective you might take. The disposition that might be foreign. Assess, regroup, and reconnect. There are chances that you're wrong. Sometimes people make blanket statements, and their blanket statements is because the way they process reality. Now, if you have unresolved issues around that blanket statement, that's not their problem, that's your problem. And when you look at just that aspect in general, unresolved issues have to be worked on internally with yourself. A person is not obligated, or should you put the responsibility on them to tweak reality based on your unresolved issues. Because let me tell you one thing, the world will still go on, whether you hold on 10, 20, 30 years of unresolved issues. The world will still go on. And so you hold yourself back. You hinder healthy connections, you hinder blessings, you hinder communication. Instead of turning and saying, I wonder why such and such is not talking to me. I wonder why my mate is not opening up. Because it gets to a point when people are attacked out of your defensiveness that even they have to go into self-preservation and say, okay, I don't want to be re-injured verbally. So let me just limit my interaction. It's so important on dealing with unresolved issues. It's so important. You do a disservice to your life every day that you wake up with unresolved issues. It's like going into your kitchen and seeing a bag of trash that been there 2 years, 3 years, and it's sitting there and it's reeking with smells. But instead of you taking out, you done got comfortable with it being in that place that it's in. And so people come over. People limit their time around you. But you rather not take out the trash. It sounds crazy, but that's how crazy it is when you're holding on to unresolved issues. People will limit their time with you. People will cease to communicate as much as they used to. People will not be around. They will think of you, but they will say, you know what? It'll be better if I don't. Because he'll jump on the defense for no reason. And I'm just present. I'm in life presently. And they're stuck. And I could personally tell you, hands on, when you loving a person that has unresolved issues, their defensiveness is like a pit bull. They lash out at unscheduled times for unknown reasons. And I'm not saying a pit bull is a savage, because you have some pit bulls that are very good dogs. But I'm trying to depict the picture of viciousness and how vicious people be on their defense. And it's almost like they look at everybody else like they're obligated to live in a world where their issues exist. And people don't have to do that. People shouldn't have to do that. That's too big of a responsibility that you put it on people. So you have to be very, number one, in tune with yourself, in tune with others, and dwell in understanding. And then that'll help you to realize that some defensiveness has nothing to do with you, has everything to do with them. There's an internal war that goes on with people, whether it's their self-esteem, their unresolved issues, their insecurities. There is a war, and that war is not meant for you to fight. So you, as an individual that's receiving the backlash the crazy part is I haven't even got to my points that I want to share, mainly because I want people to understand the flip side of their defensiveness and how impacting it is on your loved ones. You hurt and hinder. What's so crazy about defensiveness is that the person that goes to attack someone out of being a defensive, and I mean verbally. Physical abuse is a totally different topic. Verbally attacking someone when in dialogue about an issue, or not even an issue, a statement, an experience. When someone attacks, you literally wound a person. And it's like coming up to a stray dog and experiencing a bite. You didn't see that coming. And that might be a bad analogy, but I want you to think about the effects of your defensiveness. Because you look at other people and you say, I'm not talking to them. I haven't spoke to them. Well, what happened with your last experience? It's not that they all the time have issues with you. You have ongoing issues about other things that they know is not their battle, so they step away. I was going to talk about some key points, but I'm going to let Melissa work on the key points, and she might very well expound on certain things that I bring up today. But I want you to really think about the rippling effects of your defensiveness. It's damaging. It's stifling. It hinders growth. It hinders relationships. It hinders communication. And you always want to be in a posture of always evolving. You don't want to acknowledge your issues and say, well, that's just me. Because that statement, that's just me, will stop people from connecting with you. And as much as they love you and care about you, they'll step away. They will step away. Doesn't mean the love is lost. It's just that they choose to limit their interactions. You could be in a bad place in life and just very sensitive. Acknowledge your sensitivity instead of attacking other people. Acknowledge your sensitivity on certain issues and matters and stop attacking other people. If you want to grow, if you want to love, if you want to stay connected with people, this is an area that you have to work on. Not just for you, but for them. Because they love you. They love and care about you. They love and care about you. I have to say it again. They love and care about you. But just like anybody, nobody signs up and says, you know what, I'm going to be a punching bag. No. No. If it's a reoccurring defensiveness that you jump up, people will stop. They will limit. They will avoid all contact because they don't have time. And that statement, this is just me, this is just who I am, oh well. You can take on that because everybody has free will.